Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Emma Kell and I am a teacher about to enter my 27th year of teaching here in the UK. I also specialise in staff wellbeing and support people with looking after themselves and one another for thriving school cultures.
And I'm Lina. I'm a counseling psychologist and I focus on young people's mental health and well-being. And I've worked in international schools for over 20 years. And Emma and I today are going to talk about.
We are going to share with you 5 tips for looking after yourselves if you're a member of staff in a school, and 5 tips for looking after yourselves if you are a young person or the family of a young person. So I'm going to start with my 5 tips and then we'll have a short discussion about those and then Lena's going to share hers. So of all of the myriad tips I've got around staff wellbeing, it is the end of the summer holidays and we are about to dive into a new term. These are my most powerful tips gleaned from all sorts of wisdom in schools, and I hope they'll be useful to you. The first one, really simple. Put something in your diary that is related to you and your downtime, something that brings you joy, nothing to do with work, that you are going to look forward to. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be a cruise. It can be an afternoon tea with a friend. It can be a long walk by a river. It can be a coffee on a Sunday morning, but have something in your diary that you are going to look forward to. My second one, we are all juggling. Some of the balls are made of glass and some of the balls are made of plastic. If you drop a plastic ball, no big deal, no severe consequence to anybody. If you drop a glass ball, it can cause serious damage. Know what your glass balls are and keep your glass balls in the air. Your glass balls are most likely to be your physical health, your mental health, your relationships with your loved ones, anything to do with safeguarding within schools, your ongoing training and development. You decide what your glass balls are, but really focus on prioritising those. My third tip is this whole idea of spillover. We work in a profession where the job is quite literally never done. So if we accept that, like Oliver Burkeman style, if you read 4,000 Weeks, let's accept that the job is never done and make peace with it and focus on getting the most important things prioritised. Fourthly, who is on your team? So who's on team Lina? Who's on team Emma? One of my coaches calls these people her tent poles. Who are your people you can go to in different situations, whether it's times of crisis or you need inspiration or you just need a lesson idea for period 5 tomorrow with year 9? Who are you going to go to? Who is on your team? And finally, going back to Stephen Covey's famous circles, really focus. There is so much going on in our worlds and in our communities and in our schools over which we have little or no control. So really focus on the things that you can control, your sphere of control. Over to you, Lina. Any thoughts on any of those?
Okay, yes. I love the booking yourself something. I do think we get, especially at the start of the school year, we get so bogged down in our schedule and what we have to do and what's required of us. Like, oh, I have to also do an after school activity. And then I have to, if you have family, you have your kids after school activities so you're so fixated on getting everyone's schedule right. And then everyone that you're close to has their schedule they're trying to figure out, that we tend to forget to also schedule in those things that we enjoy. And typically it's easier in places where you have something like when I used to live in Thailand, it would be like booking a massage, like getting a pedicure every single week. I know. Don't kill me now, Emma. Or like when I lived in Chile, it would be making sure that every long weekend I would go to the beach so I could go surfing, things like that that I could look forward to. So I do think I 100% agree with you on that. And the image that you created with the juggling made me also think of the other image. I don't know if you know the one with the jar, and it's like you have the rocks and the pebbles and the sand, and which ones do you put in first? And I've done that with students as well, where it's like, okay, let's first try it this way and then realize, oh, that's not working. We can't get it all in there. And then put the big rocks in first and then the little ones and then the sand. And so it's like the sand is all this stuff, and it takes us to that number 5 thing, the control, the controllables. Like the sand is the stuff we don't control. It's the stuff that's all, like that's just the stuff that gets added in afterwards if we have time and place and energy for it. But really those big rocks are the big important ones. And the whole thing about number 3, your accept the job is never done and make peace with it. It's that perfection conversation, right? It's like And I have that one in my student one in a different way. It's gonna, well, you'll hear about it as well. I love the tent poles. I'm gonna steal that from you. The tent poles is great.
Tent poles, yeah, yeah. I can't name her because of coaching confidentiality, but she
No,
knows
I
who
love
she
that.
is.
But I think that's great. And I do think I have something similar like that as well, but it's student friendly. So I'll give you my top five for
Yes.
students and their supporting families. So number one is find your trusted adult. And that in some ways is like the smaller version of the team. And the trusted adult, I think, is so important in schools for so many reasons, whether it's for safeguarding, whether it's for how people are treating you. You need to have those adults in your life that you can go to. And you might have different trusted adults for different things, right? You might have your one math teacher that you're like, I really can go to that math teacher for all academic things when I'm overwhelmed, when I don't know how to schedule my life, I don't know where to go with it. But then I've got this relationship, and my drama teacher really gets relationships, and like I really want to talk to her about the. So you find your different trusted adults. You have to have at least one in your school so that you can go. They understand the environment you're living in, that you're going to school in, and they can support you when you struggle with anything, with absolutely anything. So that's number one. Number two is creating a sustainable routine. The start of the school year is crazy because everything that's thrown at you with all the activities and all the things you have to do and these projects and this assessment and this, and it's so much. You need to be realistic in creating a routine that is sustainable over time, not just, oh, I can push myself really hard for 2 weeks and then you break down, right? So that sustainable routine is important. And maybe your trusted adult is the person that helps you with creating that sustainable routine. And then super important to have in that routine are planned breaks and rest time. And planned breaks and rest time also are planned breaks, rest time without technology, and they're permission giving to not have to work. So whatever that looks like and what that means. So maybe you are, oh, I love video games and that's going to be my rest time. That's okay for some of the planned break or rest time, but not all of it, because you need some of that planned rest time to be non-technology, away from screens, being in nature, being with people you care about and love. When I lived in South America, they have a beautiful word called sobremesa, which is basically the time you spend sitting at the table after you've eaten for hours talking. And that is not something that we do in Austrian culture or in Europe, I guess, not necessarily, maybe in France, but but I would say I'm not comfortable with that and used to it, but it's definitely something that I learned to appreciate, culturally speaking. My fourth one is complete is better than perfect. Let me say that again. Complete is better than perfect. Perfection gets us stuck. So you want to create your definition of what complete is for you so that you can get unstuck. Because when you get overwhelmed, usually you're stuck and it's usually connected to something has to be perfect. Get out of the perfection and go into what was my definition of completion and use that to move yourself forward. And the fifth one is choosing kindness over harshness for yourself and for others. And it's usually easier to do it for others. We can be kinder towards others. Um, but let's not underestimate the importance of this. Okay, we're not underestimating that every school somewhere there's bullying involved. There's always going to be something that's happening that's uncomfortable, painful, unacceptable, that's happening to someone in a school. And our job is to make our environment just that little bit better for ourselves and for other people. So choose kindness over harshness for yourself and for others. Those are my top five. Emma, what are your thoughts?
You know what my thoughts are? We've divided this very neatly because I specialise in staff wellbeing and you focus on student mental health and wellbeing. And yet, all of your five could be very easily applied to every adult in a school. And I suspect that all of my five could be applied to every child. So there we go. You've got 10, which pretty much apply to everybody. And the joy of them is, in the vast majority of cases, they're really simple. They're easy to talk to other people about. They're easy to put into place. And they don't really cost anything.
Yeah.
Joyfully as well. So a few thoughts on yours. As sustainable routines, you may have noticed a wry smile. I joke about this every year. So I am actually entering my 27th year of teaching. And maybe I won't make the same mistake this year, but every year for 26 years, I have gone at September at 1,000 miles an hour because I'm quite glad to get, I love my job, glad to get
Mhm.
back to work, maybe need a bit of a break from my family. And so I'm thinking, no, I'll stay at school till 7 o'clock because I've got loads of energy. I've got all these ideas for stuff I want to do. And of course, I'll volunteer for this evening event and this evening event and this evening event. And then it gets to middle of September and you're thinking, when's the holiday again? So that's sustainable,
And
sustainable
that doesn't mean
routine.
you cannot do those things.
Yeah.
Don't let them become the routine.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Intentionality.
it's
Intentionality.
okay,
Yes.
right? It's okay to do those one-offs, but not to offer, oh, every Thursday night I will be offering this, and every Monday night I'll be offering this, because by halfway through the semester, you're like, why did I offer that?
And then you can end up feeling resentful and take
Exactly. Then the resentment happens, right? So it's the routine piece. What's sustainable over a long period of time? And when we talk long, at least the semester, if not.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And you reminded me of my school. We work with young people who've had particularly challenging experiences with mainstream school, and we have a hand. They have a picture of a hand, and they have their five trusted people on each finger of the hand. So there's a nice visual other people might want to try. And I love the idea of sobremesa, um, time spent just whiling time away, just being. And it's almost a cliche, isn't it? But I love this idea when we talk about well-being that we are human beings, not human doings.
Yes.
And
One.
when do we give ourselves a chance just to have a break from the
However, I do want to add intentional,
yes.
intentional, because otherwise you get lost in doing all these unintentional sobremesas.
Oh yeah,
And
which procrastination.
like you didn't realize you did those, and then you're like, now I need to plan in my, you know what I mean, my break time. And it's like, well, actually, that sobremesa might have been it, but because you weren't intentional about it, you missed it as being your intentional break time, right?
And intentionality is such a powerful thing. Um, so yes, those were our 10 tips on sustaining yourself, whether you're a child or an adult through the school term. We wish you all the best for a new and exciting and undoubtedly challenging academic year. And
And
thank
those
you
were
for
our insights of well-being from Dr. Emma Kell and Lena Palmgarten, and we're sending you a big high five. You're ready, Emma? Big high five to wherever you're getting this. Woo! All right.
add your own in the comments.